As darkness settled over the bustling city, an adventurous young woman named Emily found herself seeking refuge in an Airbnb for the night. She had just arrived in the city and hadn't expected the accommodations to be so scarce. Reluctantly, she booked a room in a building that towered over the city's crowded streets. As she stepped into the building's eerie lobby, its atmosphere sent a shiver down her spine. The flickering fluorescent lights cast a sickly yellow hue, illuminating the faded wallpaper peeling away from the walls. Emily approached the front desk, where an elderly gentleman with a hunched back and pale eyes greeted her with a sinister smile. "May I help you?" he stuttered, his voice filled with trepidation. Emily forced a smile, trying to mask her discomfort. "Yes, I have a reservation for the night," she replied, handing him her ID and credit card. The old man's hands shook as he typed on the computer, causing the eerie sound of clacking keys to reverberate through the silent lobby. Finally, he handed a key to Emily, informing her that her room was on the 15th floor. Reluctantly, Emily entered the old creaking elevator, the unsettling images of peeling wallpaper and flickering lights haunting her thoughts. As she ascended, the air grew colder, and a foreboding tension filled the confined space. A thin layer of ice coated the windows, making it impossible to see the outside world. Stepping off onto the 15th floor, Emily entered the dimly lit hallway. The silence was suffocating, and the carpeted floor seemed to swallow each cautious step she took. Upon reaching the room, she inserted the key into the lock, but as she pushed open the door, a gust of frigid wind whipped through, causing the lights to momentarily flicker. An icy chill spread through the room, making her regret accepting this supernatural night's stay. Trying to dismiss her growing paranoia and exhaustion, Emily decided to freshen up. She turned on the lights in the bathroom, only to be met with dim, flickering bulbs that cast eerie shadows across the small space. She splashed her face with water, hoping to alleviate her anxiety. But as she lifted her head from the sink, something caught her eye in the mirror, a brief glimpse of a shadow behind her. Heart pounding, Emily whirled around, but the bathroom was empty. She tried to calm herself, attributing it to her imagination playing tricks in this unsettling environment. As Emily climbed into bed, she desperately yearned for sleep to whisk her away from this disturbing place. Just as she began to drift off, a faint scratching sound emanated from beneath the bed. She froze, her eyes scanning the room in disbelief. It was faint, but distinctly recognizable. The scratching grew louder, more persistent. With her heart pounding in her throat, Emily leaned down, peering beneath the bed. To her horror, she saw a pair of milky white eyes staring back at her from the darkest recesses. Terrified, Emily scrambled backward, her mind racing. She reached for her phone, but immediately realized it wasn't with her. Her only hope lay in escaping this room, this building, this nightmare. As she rushed to leave, her trembling hand missed the door handle, instead brushing against a sticky, wet substance. Her fear reached its peak as her fingertips returned, stained crimson. Panicked, she turned around, only to find the room empty, devoid of both the eyes and the blood. Her mind began to unravel as she questioned her own sanity. Desperate to escape, Emily ran down the hallway, her footsteps echoing in the empty void. But as she reached the elevator, a chilling sight awaited her. The old man from the reception stood before it, a leering smile on his face. With a harsh whisper, he warned, There's no escaping this place, my dear. You shall join the others who have made the grave mistake of choosing us." Emily's heart sank as she realized the true horror of the place she had unwittingly entered. Her fate seemed sealed, trapped in a never-ending cycle of terror. She could only hope that someone, someday, would heed the warning and spare another soul from this malevolent Airbnb